covering all your local high school football games with highlights and scores. Now, Football Friday, brought to you by Alabama Credit Union.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Gary Harris. Welcome into Week 9 of the high school football season and Week 10 of WVUA 23's Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. Alabama Credit Union, loans for real life. Remember, Week 0 was the first week of the season. A reminder that the first week of our show, as I said, was Week 0. That's why we're a little bit off in terms of the weeks and the number of shows. But we're 1 hour again this year, as we've been saying all year, and we've got highlights from 17 high school football games for you this evening, plus our complete Football Friday high school scoreboard, our Football Friday Band of the Week, our premier service company Outside the Huddle feature, recruiting tales around the SEC, and much, much more. And we begin with our Game of the Week.
Now, the Football Friday Game of the Week.
And what a big one it was in Class 5A, Region 3. Northside at 4-1 in the region, hosting Demopolis at 5-0 in the region. Coach Patrick Murphy, Alabama softball coach, in attendance. Northside's Jackson Rhodes dealing with pressure, and that causes bad things for quarterbacks. He throws an interception to Monte Charleston. That sets up Keyshawn Rouser, 15-yard touchdown, 7-0 Tigers, and Rouser was just getting started. But Northside, you know they're not going to go down without a fight. Rhodes to Austin Neitlinger. To Evan Taylor for a 22-yard touchdown to make it 7-7. There is Rouser. This was the story of the night for Demopolis. This guy, they just couldn't get him on the ground. Northside couldn't. I mean, he's running through tackles. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's one of the runs of the year. 55 yards right there. Rouser adds a 22-yard touchdown to make it 13-7 at halftime. But it was Northside coming back. Bennett Green in the third quarter with a touchdown to tie it at 13. But Rouser, another score, made it 20-13. Rouser had 6 touchdowns on the night. Wow. Demopolis gets a huge win at Northside, 41-20 in our Football Friday Game of the Week. All right, let's keep it rolling. Tuscaloosa County High honoring their seniors tonight against Hewitt-Trussville. Opening drive for County High, and quarterback Carter Dotson is going to scramble, buy some time, and throw it up for C.J. Hutchins, who is somewhat open. He goes up and grabs it for a big first down, but the drive would stall. Hewitt-Trussville driving. Ethan Dabney is going to keep for a 7-yard touchdown. Huskies go up 7-0. Early in the second quarter, Hewitt-Trussville, Delvecchio Alston is going to drive across for a touchdown. Huskies extend their lead to 14-0, and the Husky offense kept going, kept their foot on the gas. Dabney is going to go 54 yards for his second touchdown, and Hewitt-Trussville is going to roll tonight over County High. It's been a long season for the Wildcats. 49-0, the final up in Northport. The Central Falcons hosting the Hueytown Gophers. A lot of senior nights. This is another senior night in Class 6A Region 4. The Falcons would strike first with a 40-yard field goal from Graham Wolf, who has had a fabulous season kicking the football. He gets that one across. It's 3-0. The Gophers, though, would take the lead when Jabron Ellington hit Quintrell Jackson on a crossing route, and he's bouncing off tacklers into the end zone. Back and forth it would go. Here's Central's Armani White. He's going to be really good. The young quarterback, already good for that matter. He's going to find Trayvon Hall in the back of the end zone. 35 yards to make it 10-7 Falcons. But the Golden Gophers come back to retake the lead again on another Ellington to Jaquarius Brooks. Let's check out the final in this one. You'll see the touchdown going across, and it's Hueytown over Central tonight. 28-17 is your score. Rivalry game in 6A Region 4. Brookwood at Paul Bryant tonight here in Tuscaloosa. The Stampede on the first offensive play. Javion Johnson fakes the handoff to Brandon Johnson, and he has got the edge, and he has got the end zone. That is a touchdown. Brookwood, though, both these teams badly in need of a win. Jordan Riley is going to pop out of here, keeps the legs driving. We've seen some runs tonight, man. Look at this. 48-yard gain before he is brought down. And then Johnson with Bryant back on offense. Javion Johnson hands to Brandon Johnson, 6-yard touchdown, 14-3 had halftime. Bryant, as we check out the final, it is Paul Bryant getting the win tonight over the Stampede, 36-17. A showdown in Region 4, 4A Region 4. Bibb County 5-1 in the region, hosting Pleasant Grove 6-0 in the region. Pleasant Grove strikes first. Jaden Walton is going to be on the other end of that. Pass for a touchdown catch from Caleb Freeman to make it 7-0 Spartans. More Pleasant Grove, as Caleb Freeman is going to swing it out to Zion Barney. And here's another one of these runs tonight. I mean, we have seen some unbelievable runs. Barney has all the moves. He gets it in the end zone to make 14-0, but you know Bibb County not going to go down without a fight right before half. Jordan Leverett to Antonio Still. That made it 14-7 at half. But Pleasant Grove tonight picks up a huge win in Centerville over the Choctaws, 35-14. All right, everybody, we're going to take a short timeout, but we're really just getting cranked up good with our highlights. Still to come tonight, we're going to have Sulligent and Aliceville in an important region matchup. But first, with a win tonight over rival ACA, the Holt Ironmen would finish with a 500 record. It's been a long time since they could say that. Did they get the win? You'll find out when Football Friday returns here on WVUA 23.
Brookwood High School cheerleaders,
and we love Football Friday
on WVUA 23. Go Panthers!
And the Brookwood cheerleaders welcome us back into Football Friday on WVUA 23. Thanks to Pullman Patio Center for the cheerleaders. I'm Gary Harris. Let's get right back to the action. 4A Region 4, Holt hosting ACA tonight. Holt looking to finish its season at 500 with a win. Even 4 wins for the Ironmen under Brian Newton has been a great year from where they have been and where they're coming from. And Holt strikes first. Calix Grisby, 3-yard touchdown to give the Ironmen an early 7-0 lead over the Patriots. Holt with the ball again. And from the 32, it's Grisby finding Jaquarius Cockrell. He makes a great grab, and he turns on the Jets. That's a 68-yard touchdown. It's 13-0 Ironman, but the Patriots come back. Kai Young threw 2 touchdown passes, including a go-ahead 35-yarder to Christian Davis. Patriots will lead 16-13, and they kept it going tonight. Let's check out the final. Holt finishes 4-6, a badly needed win for ACA. Patriots take it over the Ironmen tonight, 47-13 out at Woody Clements Stadium. 5A Region 3, Selma at Sipsey Valley. And the Selma Saints are on offense as we pick it up. Desmian Connor overshoots his receiver, and Trent Cole comes away with the interception. Great defensive start for the Bears. Next drive, or the ensuing position for Sipsey Valley, and there's nowhere to go. On 4th and 1, Isaiah Bennett is stuffed. Kadarius White stops him in his tracks, turnover on downs. Second quarter now, and L.J. Cormier, the terrific quarterback for Sipsey Valley. The touchdown, the first touchdown of the game, and a little dance there in the end zone. Next drive, it's Sipsey Cormier handing off to Bennett. He gets in to make it 12-0 after a missed 2-point conversion. And that's the problem there. Cormier throws it to the guy in the wrong color jersey. And DeJuan Akins is going to take it all the way back. But as we check out the final, Sipsey Valley, though, that was the only score for Selma. The Bears get a big win tonight at home, 40-6, and claim 4th place in Class 5A Region 3. That's a playoff spot. All right, here we go. It's Class 1A Region 5, Pickens County hosting Marion County. Senior night there in Reform. Michael Billups hands it off to Calvin Henry. He gets the edge for a first down. Later in the drive, Billups is going to fire a strike to junior Christopher Witherspoon. 37-yard touchdown. That's pretty. And the Tornadoes go for 2 and make it, and they lead 8-0. Red Raiders now with the ball in the second quarter, and some confusion here. Marion quarterback Jacob Madison is stopped on 3rd down, but is bailed out by a horse collar penalty, and that leads to the Madison sneak for the touchdown to make it 8-6. Then in the second quarter, it's Amorian Smith for Marion County. We've seen some tough running tonight. Red Raiders going to go for a big play here, but it's picked off by Michael Billups as Pickens gets the ball back. Tough game tonight. Let's check out our final score from Reform. Great win for the Tornadoes. They're kind of in a transition year this season, but they pick up a big win tonight. 22-16, the final. All right, Sulligent at Aliceville in 2A Region 5. We got playoff implications in this one as well. First quarter, Sulligent quarterback. Remember, they're coming off that huge win over Tuscaloosa Academy last week. John Will Sproul rushes for a big gain. They would score on that drive with Sulligent to make it 6-0. Aliceville now on offense, but the Sulligent defense not having anything with that little play and a tackle for loss. Second quarter, Sulligent gets the ball back, and Hagan Gann is going to bounce off a would-be tackler and take it into the end zone to make it 14-0 as they went for two and got it. Sulligent offense now pinned deep, and this is a tough one for Sulligent. The ball's on the ground, and Aliceville comes up with it. But offensively, they get stalled. Let's check out the final score. And it is Sulligent tonight, shutting out Aliceville 28-0. The big win for Sulligent. 6A Region 4, McAdory at Bessemer City. Yellow Jackets get the 2 seed with a win in 6A Region 4, and their defense was swarming. David Roper, the quarterback for Bessemer City, nowhere to go. That leads to Bessemer City on offense. Michael Barnes for the touchdown. That made it 18-0. Bessemer City makes the switch at quarterback, but no better. Intercepted by Ontario Washington. Can you say pick 6? McAdory gets that 2 seed as they roll tonight over the Purple Tigers. The Yellow Jackets take it 37-0, the final. Well, still to come tonight, Stu McCann on the remarkable post-football career of former Alabama 2-time first-team All-American Tommy Wilcox in our Outside the Huddle feature. But first, after knocking off rival Thompson last week, the Hoover Buccaneers faced off against another rival, the Vestavia Hills Rebels. We got the highlights for you when we return to WVUA 23's Football Friday.
We're the ACA cheerleaders. We love Football Friday on WVUA 23. Go Patriots!
And welcome back. I'm Gary Harris. Let's get right back to the action with Class 7A Area 3 rivals Hoover and Vestavia. Hoover, of course, that huge win over Thompson last week for the region championship. And this was a game that's always big between these two schools. Vestavia running the option on 3rd down, and they strike gold. Carson Mann takes the pitch and goes 40 yards for the touchdown. Rebels looking to pull the upset. Back come the Bucks, though. Anthony Allen, the senior tailback, rumbles in from 27 yards out. We're tied at 7 apiece. Big crowd on hand for this one. Back and forth we go. 10-7 Hoover now until Vestavia grabs the lead right back. It's the old halfback pass. Carson Purdy to Luke Stubbs. 29-yard trick play for a touchdown. But then Hoover started to flex its muscles deep in the red zone after an impressive long drive. Capped off by Allen. His second trip to pay dirt. 17-14 at the half. And the Bucks defense then coming up. Actually, this was still in the first half, right before halftime. That play turns into a huge touchdown by Justin Hartley. Hoover led 24-14 at the break, and the Bucks go on to get the win tonight as they ride that momentum in the second half. 38-20, the final. We mentioned Thompson losing to Hoover last week, looking to bounce back at home tonight on senior night against Prattville. There's Anquan Fagans with his mom and dad, the senior that's committed to Auburn. Thompson already up 7-0 when Michael DeJean, who's had a great year, 2-yard touchdown run makes it 14-0. Prattville's defense in the second quarter looking to switch momentum. Trey Knight with the catch, but Braden Graham rips the ball out and the Lions recover. And that was Prattville's lone first half highlight, though. Second quarter, Thompson knocking on the door. Trent Seaborn finds Angel Jones in the back of the end zone. That made it 21-0. And then Thompson threatening again. Seaborn is going to hit Darren Mosley for a second of the half. Thompson scores 5 TDs in the first half. And we want to show you one more highlight here because they scored 5 touchdowns, but the best one didn't count. Seaborn is going to scramble and throw on the run. It looks like it's a touchdown, but the referees called it incomplete. Still, Thompson rolls tonight. 35-0, the final score. Or actually 42-7 now, and that was 35-0 at halftime. Final 42-7. Thompson just kind of held serve in the second half and gets the win. Pelham at Leeds in 6A Region 3. The Green Wave opened the game with a 96-yard touchdown drive. Quarterback Connor Nelson finishes it with a 5-yard run to make it 7-0 Leeds. Panthers, though, with the quick answer. Dylan Smith is going to find Jacob Gibbs. Beautiful throw and catch, 30 yards. We're tied at 7. 7-7 still in the second quarter when Z.J. Dale goes in from 7 yards out. Leeds back in front 14-7, but not for long. Smith finds Terrence Copeland. 31 yards. It's 14-14, but with 32 seconds left in the first half, this was big. Green Wave with possession at the Pelham 8, and Nelson on the keeper gets the touchdown to give the Green Wave the lead at half. And as we check out the final, it was 21-14, and they go on to win it tonight, 45-28 the final. Dora at Good Hope, both with unbeaten records in 4A Region 5. That would change tonight for one of these teams. Opening drive for the Bulldogs. Dora's Jaden Griffin tippy-toes down the sideline and takes it in for the touchdown. Dora went for 2 and made it up 8-0. Good Hope answers right back. Tyler Cohn rolls on 4th down and finds Mason Drake for a touchdown. Good Hope down 8-7. But a lot of big plays in this game. Right there, a fumble leads to a touchdown as Good Hope takes a 14-8 lead. A lot of big plays, as I said. Let's go ahead and check out the final score in this one tonight. And Good Hope gets that win in a battle of region unbeatens, 47-28 over Dora. Thursday night action. It was Homewood at Minor. The Patriots playing without starting quarterback Will Myers. He was out with an injury. But Caleb Carson filling in, and he's going to run the read option. He's going to run it correctly. Calls his own number, 49-yard touchdown. 14-0 Homewood early in this one. They would really never let up in this one. Later in the first half, Carson showing off his arm this time. He finds Kylan Newell, who makes a great adjustment to the ball and makes the catch down to the 16, 34-yard gain, and that leads to Newell, who gets it in just inside the pylon. Homewood up 41-0 at the half, and that would be the final score. No scored in the second half, but a big win for the Patriots over Minor, 41-0. Also on Thursday night, 5A Region 5, Ramsay taking on Wenonah. There's former Ramsay star Tim Keenan, now the starting defensive tackle for Alabama, and his team looking to clinch the second seed in the region with a win. Jaden Martin hands off and zigs and zags in for a 13-yard gain inside the Dragons' 10. And from there, it's Martin again getting the touchdown. The Ramsay Rams go up 6-0. Second quarter, Cam Keenan finds Pierce Alexander. No one's going to catch him. 52-yard touchdown. Ramsay extends its lead 12-0. And from there, the defense was swarming. That is a Ramsay trademark. Look at that right there. Nowhere to go. And it is all Ramsay in this one as they beat Wenonah last night by the final score of 26-0. 4A Region 4, more Thursday night action. Oak Grove at Fairfield. Both teams in the playoffs playing for seeding, though. Oak Grove in the red zone, or wasn't in the red zone, but they are now after that play sets them up. And then there is Ethan Jones bullying his way in for the touchdown, 7-0. Later, Noah Chapman showcases his arm. He finds Evan Carlin. And it was the road team, Oak Grove, making a lot of big plays in this one, trying to go into Fairfield. Let's check out the final. And it was indeed Oak Grove getting the win last night over Fairfield, 35-27, that final score. Well, that's going to do it for our high school highlights on this edition of Football Friday. But still to come, more analysis from our Game of the Week and recruiting tales with Andrew Bone. Up next, though, all of the other high school scores from around our area. The complete Football Friday scoreboard is coming up next, so stay with us. And that was Hoover High School, our WVUA 23 Football Friday Band of the Week. Welcome back to the show. It's time now to check in on a lot of the other area scores from all across West Alabama. So let's turn our attention to the complete Football Friday scoreboard. We're going to run them down for you pretty quickly tonight. A lot of them to get to. Hillcrest tonight, look at that. They go to Oak Mountain and win a wild one. Good win for the Pats, 50-36. Coosa Christian, 2 straight losses for Tuscaloosa Academy. And they fall tonight on the road. Of course, Coosa Christian, a really good team. 35-21, the final in that one. It was Barry winning at Brilliant, 51-8. Hamilton down Fayette County, 41-26, the final. It was Gordo over Carbon Hill, 56-0. Hell County beat Dallas County. Big win for the Wildcats tonight on the road, 38-32. West Blockton at home all over Tarrant, 42-zip. And Lynn big over South Lamar, 35-6, the final in that game. It was Thomasville shutting out Greensboro, 62-0. Isabella did the same to Lamar County, a shutout there, 24-zip, the final. Winfield wins at Vinemont, 42-12. Spain Park, what a season the Jaguars are having. 37-6 over Chilton County down in Clinton. It was Pickens Academy over Francis Marion tonight, 21-14. 8-man Christian semifinals, and Russell Christian eliminates Tuscaloosa Christian tonight over in Meridian, Mississippi, 40-20, the final score there. It was Springwood Christian again. I'm going to keep telling you this. North River Christian's playing 8th and 9th graders. They're taking it on the chin this year, 84-6 the final, but they'll be better when they get older. Linden over University Charter tonight, 33-8. It was Haleyville beating Cordova, 21-7. Helena wins at Calera, 49-21. Summerton Christian falls at Hubbardville, 65-20. It was Greene County topping Vincent tonight, 32-24. And that is a look at our complete Football Friday scoreboard, but we aren't done with high school football. When we return, Bama Central's Joe Gaither will join me for a closer look at tonight's game of the week between Northside and Demopolis and where this region stacks up after tonight. A closer look at our Football Friday game of the week is on the way. And we're back on Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. I'm Gary Harris, joined now by our high school analyst, Joe Gaither from Bama Central. And our high school game of the week was a big one as we had Northside hosting Demopolis. Joe, all kinds of playoff implications in this one in the region. And as we start to take a look at our highlights, it was a really good game. You were there, but just too much Keyshawn Rouser for Demop tonight. 6 touchdowns. You didn't add up the stats rushing-wise, but probably over 200 yards.
Absolutely. One was 64 yards, one was 74 yards. He ripped a 50-yarder off in the first half. So you combine all that together and add it in, it was definitely over 200. He was really untackleable for Demopolis tonight. Really ran with great pad level, and you got to credit Demopolis up front. They dominated the trenches on both sides of the ball tonight.
This game kind of epitomizes what high school football is about in West Alabama. Demopolis brought up a big crowd. We know their tradition. Northside, boy, they really support their team well. It was one of those special atmospheres tonight.
Oh, absolutely. It was homecoming, so they were honoring all the seniors from Northside, and everybody met a lot of grandparents out there, saw some people that I knew. It was a whole happening up 43, and Northside played pretty well. Yep. They only went to halftime down 7. They tied it up pretty much on the 3rd, 4th play of the second half, so they fought really hard. They were just a little physically outmatched tonight.
Yeah, and Rouser was a man among boys. He was a grown man in that one. All right, what does this do for the region? This is a really competitive region. How do we stack up?
Absolutely. And 2 teams in West Alabama. You got Demopolis winning the region, Shelby County finishing 2nd, Northside and Sipsey Valley finishing 3rd and 4th, respectively.
Huge win for Sipsey Valley tonight.
Absolutely. You see it 40-6, only the pick 6 for the other side. And Sipsey Valley just been growing and growing, but right behind LJ Cormier, and we'll see what they can do in the playoffs.
Can you believe that next week is the last week of the regular season?
Well, I ran into a reporter tonight and said, it's the last night of region play. I thought, oh, my gosh, it is. It's amazing. It's flown right by, Gary.
Yeah, we'll have some teams on bye. We'll have no region games next week. And then 2 weeks from tonight, it's the first round of the state playoffs. Joe, we're going to be looking forward to it and appreciate your insight.
Can't wait to be there, Gary. Thanks for having me.
All right, that is going to do it for our high school analysis. When we come back, though, our award-winning Outside the Huddle feature, and it is going to be a really special one tonight. You're going to want to look forward to, and stay tuned for that. We'll be back after this.
We're the Pickens Academy cheerleaders.
We love football Fridays.
WVUA 23 Sports. Go Pirates!
And welcome back to WVUA 23's Football Friday, presented by Alabama Credit Union. I'm Gary Harris. Well, Tommy Wilcox was a two-time All-American while playing safety at Alabama for Coach Paul Bear Bryant. But his passion away from the football field led to a post-playing career in outdoors television. Here's Stu McCann with tonight's Outside the Huddle feature presented by Premier Service Company.
Tommy Wilcox wanted to be on TV.
And it's over, everybody. It's intercepted.
If you went to an Alabama, Notre Dame, USC, something like that, you were going to be on national television, one of the big three networks, at least 3 times a year.
That carried nearly as much weight as the promised championship opportunities when he was recruited out of Harahan, Louisiana in 1977 and during his recruitment 1 year later.
My freshman year, I came up here, I got redshirted, so I was on the scout team. And believe me, that's not fun when you're the opposing quarterback against the #1 defense in the country and all those All-Americans that were on that 78 defense. It's not going to be fun. I think about that a lot still to this day, where I would be at today if Coach Bryant didn't think enough about me to leave practice that day, get in the school plane and fly down to get me.
His homesickness gave way to his new home. By giving the University of Alabama a second chance, he fell in love with West Alabama.
When I grew up in Louisiana, South Louisiana, they didn't have deer or turkey. All we grew up on was rabbit, squirrel, no quail. We've never hunted deer or turkey in my life until I came up here to the university. And I just got to love it so much.
For the past 21 years, Tommy Wilcox Outdoor Show has aired on WVUA 23. The premise is simple, following the structure of the classic series American Sportsman.
They started this thing, well, hey, let's get these athletes out in the woods and on the water, and let's do one-on-one interviews with them, and let's get Ted Williams out there, and let's take him fly fishing, or let's take this guy elk hunting, or whatever. And then they would talk about football, their life, their families.
Some athletes transition to coaching after they're done playing. The thing that takes Wilcox back to football appears to be the furthest thing from the field.
God, that was quick. Thank you, brother. I love you. Thank you.
It's a sport that you can kind of communicate with the turkey. I know this sounds crazy, but you call, they answer, you emulate the female turkey. The gobblers talk to you and you talk back to them.
We've done segments where all he does is sit there and call. And he's trying to show people the calls, but also show them, here's how it's supposed to sound.
Tommy Wilcox Outdoors became well known for 2 things above all else: its celebrity guests.
You know, over 2 decades, it's got to be over 100. I know when you factor in the country music stars and the sports aspect, the coaches, the former players, it's a lot, you know, and he's probably had just about every former teammate that he ever played with Bear Bryant on the show at some point in time.
The show's other calling card became its signature sign-off.
Y'all come get you some. Y'all come get you some of these. Come get you some. Come see Jan.
Along the way, Wilcox discovered something that he wants his show to be known for that is better than words. He found a way to give back and help those that are disadvantaged through his 4th and 40 program.
It's like in football, man. It's hard to make a 4th down and 40. It's hard. It's tough. I mean, the odds are single digits. But what these kids face every day when they get up is a 4th and 40, because some of them can't walk, some of them don't have use of the hands, arms, some are blind, some have cancer and have 2 months to live.
In the everyday life, these people would never, ever be able to get out into the woods to do what we're doing, to hunt, to fish. They wouldn't be able to do it. They've developed so many tools and things through 4th and 40 and through different sponsorships to be able to provide the tools required to let people who normally would never have an opportunity to get in the woods and kill that turkey, kill that deer. If you can just get somebody out there to hunt or to fish, a lot of people end up liking it because it's so unique and it's a lot of fun. Just being able to talk to people, the camaraderie, when you put all that together, a lot of people like it. But you got to get them out there to do it first before they can realize they like it.
Tommy Wilcox began his outdoor show taking aim at sports stars, looking to recreate a piece of childhood magic. Over 2 decades, some of the focus has changed, but it's still about creating magic.
What you think about that, Coach?
Yeah.
I'm with Coach.
Wow, that's good stuff. Tommy Wilcox, I've known him a long time. What a great guy. Great job, Stu, on that piece. Coming up, Conyers Corner, and Alex Booth will take us behind enemy lines. That's straight ahead on Football Friday.
Towards the end of practice, one of the little managers came up and said, Coach Saban wants y'all to come over at the meeting. At the end of practice, he brings the team together and goes through different things. Well, he said he wants y'all in that meeting. And I didn't have an idea what it was about, so I got over there. Then he turned and he said, was talking about 90th birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I had a jersey with my name on the back of it with number 90 on it. They had a big cake.
Look at that!
And he was very impressive to me, of course, and unexpected. But I remember I told him, I said, well, Coach, you've kind of got me in a problem here. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, you got the press here, and the word's getting out that I'm 90 years old. I said, I told a girl at this bar the other night I was 21. I remember he said, if she believed that, don't have anything to do with her.
And Eddie Conyers is still going strong. Welcome back to Football Friday. It's time for Football Friday's Alex Booth now to take us behind enemy lines with St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter Eli Hoff.
Alabama looks to bounce back on Saturday and keep their playoff hopes alive against a rare SEC opponent, the Missouri Tigers. Brady Cook and Mizzou will be making their second trip in program history to Tuscaloosa.
It was 100% Brady Cook's comeback. You know, Mizzou comeback, Brady Cook comeback. They were really synonymous there, and it was incredible what Brady Cook did in that game. Went out on the first drive of the game with what seems to be a high ankle sprain. Went to the hospital across the street, got the MRI, came back, got some treatment, and charged back out there. It was like a wrestling type entrance. Charged back out there to come back in the game and lead that comeback.
The Tigers come in ranked 21st in the AP poll after a comeback win on Saturday against Auburn at home. At 6-1 overall, Missouri beat writer for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Eli Hoff, says that the Tigers feel like they are coming into this game being disrespected.
It's really tough to get a read on them, and I think there's a fair amount of disrespect that this team is feeling just with the latest rankings from having won a game and then dropped 2 spots from 19 to 21. That's, you know, I think that the usual pattern of things is that you win and you move up in the poll. So I think a little bit of disrespect there. That's actually, it's not the first time this season either that Mizzou has won a game and then dropped. That happened after Mizzou got its double overtime win over Vanderbilt. They dropped in the polls.
The Tigers' wide receiver corps is highlighted by star wideout Luther Burden, who will be leaned on heavily on Saturday.
This is one of the things that I'll be really interested to watch. Actually, both secondaries against both wide receivers for I think that's what's going to determine this game, because for Mizzou, there's so much talent in this wide receiver corps. They were not shy coming into this year about saying they thought they were the best group of wide receivers in the nation. That has not been the case through the first half or so of the season.
For Missouri to get their first ever program win in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, It will all come down to the defense.
I think really for Missouri, it's actually going to come down to how the Tigers secondary holds up. They've been prone to some of these big coverage busts, and a guy like Ryan Williams, he's the best wide receiver Mizzou has faced yet this year, and frankly probably will see all year.
Thanks, guys. Now with more on tomorrow's homecoming matchup for Alabama against Missouri, here's Tide TV's Christopher England, first off the field with Alabama defensive lineman Marion Latham from Pickens County High School.
I'm Christopher England with Tide TV. We're here inside the Hank Cripps indoor practice facility. I'm joined by Jamarian Latham, defensive lineman for the Crimson Tide. How's practice going out there today?
It's going good. We just had to come back and, just refocus, coming off of a loss. So the only thing is really going 1-0, making sure that we're doing the right things this week so that on Saturday we're prepared and in the right spot for the game.
You've been wanting to improve on defense, and you guys had a fantastic first half against Tennessee. 3 turnovers. Just kind of talk about that defensive effort and just getting those turnovers when you really needed them.
That was something that we really harped on, like getting the ball out, just causing turnovers and getting the ball back to our offense so that the time possession is kind of like equal or better than I have. That's something that Coach Kane has also been harping on. Like, it's a couple games where we didn't have many turnovers that we needed, and the game didn't turn out like how it should have. So, like, seeing that shows that, that we're capable of doing it. So now it's just making sure we're building the right habits throughout the week so that it continues to show up on Saturday.
You're going to have a tough team coming up in Missouri. They got some big-time players on their offense. Brady Cook, Luther Burden. It's got some big athletes. Just kind of talk about their offense and what you've seen from them so far.
So far, they do a lot of outside zone stretch plays. They got good running backs, good receivers. It's just about us, for real, just making sure that we're doing whatever we have to do during the week and building the right practice habits so that we can go out and perform to the standard on Saturday.
Let's talk about the fans. Like, the fans had an impact there on our offense, communicating everything. How much of an impact can the fans have in this game on Saturday?
They can have a huge impact. You see Saturday, like, how difficult it was for our offense just to, get play calling and anything, like, just sitting on the sideline. Like, you could tell just how much of an impact that their fans had on the offense. So I feel like if we can, implement that here and get our fans more in tune with the game, then we could probably, up the score on a lot of people that we play.
Thank you, Jamarian. We appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday in Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Look forward to talking to you again. For Jamarian Latham, I'm Christopher England, reporting from the Hank Cripps Indoor Practice Facility.
And coming up, Andrew Bone's recruiting tales. This week it's Derrick Henry. Around the SEC, and WVUA 23's Richard Scott will have our game day forecast. That's coming up on Football Friday. Welcome back to Football Friday. Derrick Henry is a Heisman Trophy winner, one of the greatest football players in Alabama history. But many schools didn't see him as a running back coming out of high school. They wanted him to play another position. Thankfully, Alabama wasn't one of those schools. Here's On 3's Andrew Bone with this week's recruiting tales.
The thing about Derrick was there are not a lot of Derrick Henrys out there. You watch his film and he's just running all over these little kids that are out there, even though they're his same age. And so everybody, all these national recruiting analysts at the time, just wanted to label him as an athlete rather than labeling him as a running back, even though he was breaking all these state and national records. And he committed pretty early to the Georgia Bulldogs. Started taking some more visits after his junior season, including a couple trips to Tuscaloosa. And I remember doing an interview with Derrick, and I asked him, and he was still committed to Georgia at the time, and I said, what do you like about Alabama? He'd just come off a trip to Tuscaloosa, and Nick Saban, the program, NFL, all that good stuff. But one thing I'll always remember him telling me is Alabama is also a much better fit for me than the University of Georgia. Alabama strictly recruited him as a running back. That was the only position that he ever talked to the staff about playing. You look back at Alabama at the time, they were known as a running school because you had Mark Ingram, you had Trent Richardson, you had Eddie Lacy, you had T.J. Yeldon. These were all guys that came in before Derrick Henry did. And these are guys that were big focal points of the offense for Alabama. These are guys that are winning Doak Walker Awards. These are guys that are finalists for the Heisman Trophy. He knew what playing at the University of Alabama was going to mean potentially for his future at the running back position. Just hearing that remark about Alabama being such a better fit for him than Georgia as a Georgia commitment is something that I'll always remember.
Henry's been great at every level now in the NFL. And let's go around the SEC now with Football Friday's J.D. Zaza.
First place in the Southeastern Conference is on the line this week as the LSU Tigers take on the Texas A&M Aggies. The final two undefeated teams in the SEC will battle in College Station.
To get out of Kyle Field with the win, the Bayou Bengals must have another good performance from their defense. Last season, LSU ranked 108th in the country in total defense. This season, the Tigers brought in former Missouri defensive coordinator Blake Baker, and LSU has jumped 41 spots to 67th in total defense. The Tigers give up an average of 15 points a game, and with quarterback Garrett Nussmeier on the other side, LSU looks to win its first SEC championship since 2019. The transition for the Oklahoma Sooners into the SEC has not been as smooth as their fans hoped for. While rival Texas is competing for the top of the conference, the Sooners are making changes to their offense. A day after losing by nearly 4 touchdowns to South Carolina, the Sooners fired offensive coordinator Seth Luttrell and promoted the duo of Joe John Finley and Kevin Johns. Finley got promoted to primary play caller. Johns, who was previously an offensive analyst, is now the co-OC and quarterbacks coach of the Sooners. The two men look to turn around an Oklahoma team that ranks 128th out of 133 teams in total offense.
And again, there will be real change. You know, the things that I just said will be different, even though there's people that are still here on that side of the ball. I do believe if we just make some incremental improvement, play to our potential, do the things that the game requires you to do in order to execute and win. Number one, take care of the ball. In our three losses, you know, we didn't take care of the ball.
Now we head south of the Red River as the Texas Longhorns, coming off a loss to Georgia, look to bounce back against Vanderbilt and quarterback Diego Pavia. The transfer from New Mexico State has changed the culture of the Commodores program. Vanderbilt is ranked for the first time since 2014 and already has impressive wins over Virginia Tech, Kentucky, and number 1 Alabama. Now, Vanderbilt sets its sights on the 5th-ranked Longhorns. When asked about the challenges of facing Pavia, Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian says he's the straw that stirs the drink for the Commodores.
Well, he's kind of that definition of grit. You know, grit's always something very hard to define. Sometimes it's easier to see. And he's a gritty player. He's tough. He finds a way to make plays, whether it's with his legs, with his arm, with his legs and his arm. You know, he runs tough. He runs hard. He makes the throws when he needs to make them. He's the straw that stirs the drink for them.
Texas is currently an 18.5-point favorite tomorrow, but Vanderbilt has embraced the underdog mentality. This year, we have seen what the Commodores can do if you give the team life. That'll do it for Around the SEC. For Football Friday, I'm J.D. Zaza.
Thanks, J.D. Before we close out Football Friday, let's check in with WVUA 23 Chief Meteorologist Richard Scott, who has our game day forecast.
Hey, Gary, those local high school football games, no weather problems at all. Quite a mild evening. Let's talk about college football for Saturday. It's Alabama's homecoming game. Alabama taking on Missouri at Bryant-Denny Stadium. 2:30 kickoff, and it's going to be a warm game at Bryant-Denny. Temperature around 86 with lots of sun. How about the Auburn game? Auburn over in Lexington taking on Kentucky. 6:45 kick, a later game there. Temperature of 59 and 50 by the fourth quarter. And for the Mississippi State game, taking on Arkansas over in Starkville. Look for that 11:45 a.m. kickoff, Sunday in 75. End of the game around the fourth quarter should be in the low 80s. Here's our local weekend forecast. We've got things going on outdoors. Other than game events, we've got temperatures in the 80s for Saturday and Sunday, maybe a stray shower on Sunday. That's a look at your local and college weather forecast update.
Thank you, Richard. It looks fabulous for the weekend in college football. Alabama's homecoming, complete coverage coming up tomorrow night on WVUA 23 News at 10. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Football Friday. Thanks to all our great sponsors that make the show possible. Thanks, obviously, to our crew, both out in the field, in the studio, and in the control room. And most of all, thanks to you for watching. Have a great weekend, everybody. And stay tuned for WVUA 23 News tomorrow night at 10 and Sunday night at 10 as well.